In our final show before the real thing begins and gets underway on Monday for Media Day, followed by training camp, we close out the offseason, folks, with another draft to round out the summer and the offseason. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers Podcast alongside Kyle Neubeck. I'm Devon Givens. Brianna is with you as well. All of you in the chat. No Derek today. Derek's getting his final things in order before we get ready to head out for training camp. So it's just us three here today with you all out there. And we're going to have some fun to close out the official offseason for the Philadelphia 76ers and the NBA. And when we see you on Monday, the real thing really gets underway, gets started. For our coverage here on PHLY Sixers Podcast. So welcome to the show as always. And today, if you remember, a few weeks ago, we did a draft that was surrounded by Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid was the starting point for all three of us, Derek, Kyle, and myself. And today, we're going to run a Tyrese Maxey themed draft with Kyle, myself, and since Derek's not here, Bree is kind enough to step in. She's a big-time basketball person that you guys don't know about all that much yet, but you'll hear a little bit more today and going forward with our show here. And we're going to have our three teams that we put together for a team that's surrounding Tyrese Maxey with a window of 3 years and winning a championship in today's NBA. So the players that we draft from will be the pool of today's NBA players, stars, role players, young players, whatever they may be. We're going to go Tyrese Maxey as the starting point, and then the rest of the players that we select.
Fill it in from there, baby.
Filling in from there from the pool of today's players and stars. So we're going to have some fun today.
Yeah, and I'm sad to say, pour one out for me, I suppose. We shot on the Pop-A-Shot machine for first pick. Devon put up 95. I put up 93.
93.
Final shot on the rim. Spinning around.
That's right.
As the buzzer goes off.
That's right.
Does not count. Devon rightfully earned his place at first. I will draft second, and Bree will come in at third. We actually didn't determine this, so this is a real question. Are we doing it as a snake draft, or we reverse, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3,
Let's go in
1,
reverse.
2, 3.
Let's go in reverse.
Okay, so when it comes to your turn, you will make 2 picks in a row, which I always find that's the advantageous position. You can just get all your ducks in a row in one shot. So
all right.
Looking forward to seeing what Bree has cooking behind the glass over there. So
and it's funny because we don't know how Bree drafts.
We don't. She hasn't been part of one of these before.
She hasn't been part of one. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out here. And then we'll lay it all out there at the very end. And you guys can let us know who you feel has the best team at the end of it all. So should we get started?
Yeah.
Let's get started.
Hey, nowhere to start but the number one overall
selector.
Let's
get started. And look, as we all know, I won the Joel Embiid team anyway, so might as well keep going. Do you remember the teams that we had that day?
I don't
remember. I normally write that down,
point.
and I think I did write it down somewhere. I know Bree did clip it and make a graphic out of it. But that being said, I know I won, so it's all good. All right. No, here I actually do have the last one I have. Yes, I do. It was with the Sixers greats, right?
Yes.
All right. So you had Dr. J, Jimmy Butler, Mo Cheeks, Kyle Korver, and Ben Simmons coming off the bench. Derek did have Allen Iverson, Bobby Jones, Wilt Chamberlain, Tyrese Maxey, and Billy Cunningham. I had Charles Barkley, Andrew Toney, Andre Iguodala, Drew Holiday, and Hersey Hawkins as our teams.
It's hard to say who won.
That was three good teams.
Yeah, very good teams.
All right, so let's get started, folks. And again, not Sixers related. Yes, we can pick 76ers, but we're going around the league. So with
be anybody.
First overall pick in the 2024 Tyrese Maxey Build a Championship Team Draft.
I'm already preemptively mad about whoever you pick because I'm just going to pretend like that was my guy, even if it's not.
Because at the top, that's how it goes. I'm going with Victor Wembanyama as my number one overall pick.
Oh, man. That was not what I was expecting.
I'm going Victor Wembanyama as my number one overall pick to go with Tyrese Maxey and team up with him to start building things out from there. I have a guy who can play on the perimeter, can play on the inside defensively. He can hold his own on the perimeter, but certainly we're trying to protect the rim, to protect the paint. And while there may be some bigger bodies that we have to worry about, I'm going with Wemby with my number 1 overall pick.
That was not at all where I was expecting you to go. I like I don't want to say it's outside the box, right? Because Wemby has a metric ton of hype coming into this year. Favorite for defensive player of the year. There are higher expectations in San Antonio. I mean, we've talked a lot during the free agency show and, immediate post free agency period. Chris Paul to the Spurs, one of my favorite under the radar moves of the summer, like giving him a real guard, all that. You give him 23-year-old Tyrese Maxey, I think that team be really cooking with gas. I guess my concern as your first building block is, is he really ready to go and win right now?
Sure.
And I certainly think he's a insane talent who in the medium term, not the long term, medium term, we'll say, has a real chance to be one of those inner circle players in the league.
Yeah.
But it's a gamble. I like it. It's aggressive. It's like you want the whole 3 years. He certainly gives you that as long as he's healthy. And look, we're off to the races.
I'm going Wemby number 1. Yeah, I like the idea of, as you said, coming into year number 2 with all the hype that surrounds him. The one thing that we looked at with all of that hype was, who did he have? He had no one. And as you mentioned already, just bringing in Chris Paul makes such a big difference. And even discussing it last season as it was playing out in the moment, get this guy a point guard. Jeremy Sochan should not be running the point guard position for 30-plus games to begin the year. And you cannot do that. So when you put him in the situation like this, if we're outlooking in the forward outlook that we have here with Tyrese Maxey, and depending on how the rest of the draft here plays out, I feel like that while there be pressure on him, there may not be the only pressure on him, of course, because we're talking about building from a collection of stars in this league, where he'll most certainly be a piece and may not necessarily need to be the piece with Tyrese Maxey and company.
All right. Well,
I left one right there for you.
I was going to say, I think you probably know where I'm going.
And I did this for you last time too. So there you go.
There's no charity here. We're playing to win.
You're right, but I do.
We're playing to win. So I talk a lot about Tyrese is a player that can fit with a lot of people, but if you want somebody who can be that perfect complement next to him in the backcourt, you need that prototype size. You need athleticism. You want somebody that they certainly can succeed with the ball in their hands, but can be more of that classic 2-guard, right? The guys you think of, Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler, like a Mitch Richmond type player, like those guys, 6'6", long, athletic, can defend their position in today's NBA, can switch, has some dog in them. Let's say relatively young, right? Someone that's very good, even great right now and has room to grow. Devon knows who I'm taking.
Yes,
some of you probably already know who I'm taking. It's the Ant-Man, ladies and gentlemen. Tyrese Maxey and Anthony Edwards in the backcourt together. It's one of my favorite potential pairings in the league. Now, if I'm got to self-assess, right? If I'm going to pick apart Wemby, look at Ant-Man too. There might not be enough playmaking, and so playmaking might have to come from some other sources later on down the road. But if you give me those two as the starting point for the franchise and you're trying to win over the next 3 years, I feel pretty damn good about that.
No, and I love the idea of Anthony Edwards. As much as he might drive some of the people crazy who follow basketball, when you look at the prototypical shooting guard in today's NBA, it's bar none him. And he's the one. He's the one that you look at for that prototypical shooting guard in today's NBA, can handle the basketball as a lead guy running your offense through him. And we've seen him fail in the playoff scenario, but we've also seen him step up in big, big moments in the postseason to even help them get to the Western Conference Finals the way that he did. He can take over those games, as we know, when he really locks in defensively. When he locks in defensively, he is a terror on that end of the floor if he's engaged and in that place, in that space of where he is at that point. So right there for me. I mean, it's hard to really, again, as you said, pick apart Wemby, pick apart Anthony Edwards. It's hard to do so when we're talking about those two as the first two selections to go next to Tyrese Maxey. It also talks about how good Tyrese Maxey is, that we think he can play with both of those players to start things off. So Anthony Edwards probably would have been my number one pick, but I wanted to have a little more fun just because I know Kyle wanted him.
I would have gone a different way. I would have figured it out.
And I wanted to challenge myself more so than anything of building, because he's the perfect one. He's the right one right next to Tyrese Maxey to be the guy. So yeah, I'm curious to see where Bree goes next after Victor Wembanyama and Anthony Edwards.
Super producer Bree is now on the clock for the next
Bree,
2 picks.
3 years we're trying to win some championships here, trying to go for a three-peat.
I will say I was going to take Ant Edwards.
I threw a wrench into Bree's plans, and now you got to make 2 picks back to back.
Let's see. And they have to be active like in today's NBA, right? We're not doing like all time. Okay. All right.
Today's NBA.
All right. With my first pick, I'm going to take Giannis and put him at the 4.
Like it. Was on my list.
Yeah, I like him. He's good. And are we talking about these players in their peak or as they're currently playing right now?
Because the goal is to try to win over the next few years. So it's, part of the calculus is,
all right.
Do you draft somebody in their mid-30s because they're very productive, but maybe toward the end of that, it's the same conversation we're having with Paul George for this team, right? The next couple years, or maybe just this year, go get it. After that, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a good one, though.
But Giannis is a very
I think
good
I'm going to throw the dice and take Giannis
because
at the 4.
look, with Giannis, it just simply makes sense. I mean, the guy is coming back with some vengeance there. He's ticked off. He feels like he's fallen below the conversation.
He listens to our show.
Absolutely
says, this
does.
bozo Kyle says I'm
Kyle
cooked
says
and
the
we're
Bucks
done.
are done, and you know what? I got to go prove Kyle Neubeck wrong in Philadelphia, and do that in Philadelphia, starting with game number 1 for the season. But Giannis is a really good pick, because if we talk defensively and helping out, if Maxey or anybody else on Bree's team gets a little lost, we know that guy has a really good chance of cleaning those things up. So Bree, you have the very next pick here, since we're doing the snake draft here.
So with my second pick, I know this might make chat maybe upset. I don't know. I'm going to take Brunson, and I'm going to put him at the 2 next to Maxey.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A little small.
I thought when you said I'm going to make the chat mad, I thought it was somebody else that might come up.
They're probably on my list as well. Yeah.
Later in the.
So did I.
They're on my list.
That's an interesting look. 2 scoring guards. Defensively, we're going to try to cook you, but you are going to cook on the other end. I was going to say,
my boy Ant-Man is coming out. He sees Tyrese Maxey and Jalen Brunson in front of him. He's like a shark in the water. I guess they can't play each other, right? Because Tyrese is going to
have to defend Ant.
He plays both teams. You got to clone him to go through a season series. But yeah.
What do you think of Bree's 2 choices here?
Brunson is an interesting one, because my philosophy with him, or with Tyrese, I should say,
which is why you
I want to get bigger and more athletic and all that. And Brunson brings some of the same defensive challenges. Now, what I would say is that we've gone through stretches in the past where we're like, the Sixers need more guys who can create, more guys who can go out there and get their own shot. Certainly don't have concerns about Jalen Brunson being able to get his own shot, and his shooting speaks for itself. So that ability to be on the ball, off the ball, and pose danger, that makes a lot of sense. But I'm running him the hell over with whoever's on my team.
Put him in the weight room, man. Put him in the weight room. Absolutely. Who you got?
So there are a lot of ways you could go here. I'm not sure if I want to go big man next. I'm not sure if I want to. Maybe I'll put like a luxury pick in here. It's hard to. It's a tough one.
There's so many good ones that we feel like we're going to leave guys off the table here. So many good ones. We might have to expand our bench.
Wow. All right, I'm going to go with the luxury pick here, I think. I don't know if it's where you think I was going to go. And it is a big risk, because this person is, let's say, the health hasn't always been there. The motivation even hasn't always been there. But when this person, I just saw a quote from them the other day, when this person is motivated, when this person is locked in,
I know where you're going.
They're one of the most explosive and exciting and productive players in the league. He's tired of hearing about the beignets. He's tired of hearing he spent too much time on Bourbon Street. Yep. Tired of talking about baby mamas and all kinds of other things.
That's your fault, buddy.
Bring me Zion Williamson and let's go to work. And I'm just going to bet on, look, it is not that long ago that Zion was viewed as one of the preeminent young talents in the league. I think we've seen the flashes, right? And I think what I like him for, because I don't know that he ends up actually being in my starting five when it's all said and done. He just brings a dimension that is hard to quantify, right? Like that big, burly, like Barkley type of physique where you're just going through people, you're going over people. You can use him as that kind of bruising power forward. He's a really aggressive and productive rebounder at his best. There will be stretches where you can use him as a small ball five, right? Where you're going to ask him to initiate and do all that. And I think you at times have taken issue with Tyrese's lob throwing, we'll say.
Absolutely.
If you got Zion as a target, you shouldn't have that many problems, right? Because he's still, whatever issues he has picked up, those have faded. If you can throw it towards Zion, he will catch it and he will most likely dunk it. So he's my luxury pick that I think will probably get pushed down the pecking order, but I like the talent and I'm going to figure out the kind of structure of my team in a little bit here.
Yeah, I do love that as a luxury pick because he's a fun one. And he does seem like he's motivated going into this year.
The beignet boys.
The beignet boys. The fact that he looks, at least from the photos that we saw, that one photo that we saw at a camp, it wasn't the Jordan camp yet where they all went over to I think it was Paris or somewhere, and it wasn't that camp. There was another camp that he had, I believe, and he took a photo with a camper there, and he looked so slim.
I'm getting the motivated
and
Zion.
That's the one that everyone from Charles Barkley on down has been asking for. Fans of basketball, just simply watching and saying, can you get yourself together to be the player that we all believe you to be? And if he does that and you have that guy leading your way in New Orleans and in this particular team with Tyrese Maxey running the floor with those guys, try to stop that filling the lanes with Zion and Anthony Edwards on the outside with Maxey running the middle of the floor. That's going to be a tough one.
I want a team that can get up and down, right?
Like
if you want to lean into Tyrese's speed and his ability to hurt you in transition. Like obviously he's become a much more dangerous half-court guy. But if you can get out and get on the break constantly, create turnovers, like Zion has his issues on defense at times, but he's an event creator, right? He's going to block shots as a weak side guy. He's going to get steals in passing lanes. I think you can turn that into a lot of just like you're gassing teams. And we don't even have to play at altitude to do it. We're not the Denver Nuggets here.
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, I have 2 picks coming up, and before we do...
Well, I would say, why don't you make your first one, so we all have 2 picks,
okay,
and then that'll be our stop point, and we'll move on after we talk about our friends.
All right, before we get to our friends, I will select Shai Gilgeous-Alexander here to go in the backcourt.
I was
with Tyrese
absolutely
Maxey.
Considering him.
Yeah.
With the first pick, he was in there. Once you went Wemby, I figured I should go with my guy, Ant-Man, but SGA is an excellent pick.
Yeah, now the defense, of course, is not there. We'll worry about that with the rest of the team around. But size-wise, the wingspan that he has, his creativity, both playing on and off the ball, where both of my guards in the backcourt can do that. And I'm not worried about much when I have those 2 right there.
Yeah.
And it's not a worry of, hey, Shai needs the ball in his hands to be effective. We know Tyrese doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective. He can work it out however he needs to and fitting in with whatever happening within the flow of the offense on the floor. So Shai Gilgeous with Tyrese Maxey in that backcourt, 2 Kentucky guys teaming up here to run up against some tough athleticism from Kyle's team. And certainly we're looking to attack Bree's team with some of the smaller guards, but we're going to have to defend them on the other end.
We see you, Jalen Brunson.
We see you, Jalen. So I'm going with
nowhere to hide out there.
I'm going with SGA right there. And he's just too good to last as long as he has here right now. So yeah. So,
all right. Well, so through the first 6 picks,
who do we
for
have?
each team.
What do we have?
Devon's got Wemby and SGA. I have Anthony Edwards and Zion. Bree has Giannis and Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Zion's definitely sticking out like a sore thumb to some extent here, but I'm not worried about it. There's a vision here. It's going to come to fruition.
Well, we'll get to the next round here when we get back and continue our Tyrese Maxey theme draft on the other side here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. And speaking of Zion Williamson and some things that, as you mentioned, Kyle, having some issues with some, not issues, some happiness with some people that he's making happy in New Orleans. And part of that is because, the ladies love him. And I wonder, with everything going on with Zion, if he was speaking to our good friends at Blue Chew. Because at Blue Chew, Zion was able to keep it going with the ladies out there, flying them all in the way that they're saying. Good for him. And if he had the Blue Chew, they say the first impression is the most important impression. And what about the lasting impression, too, for Zion, as he had that lady going crazy on social media? That's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew helps give men longer lasting and extending time so he can perform at his very best. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in a chewable form. So Zion, don't come after me. I'm just trying to help you out because I know you have a lot of people coming after you. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you are approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And the best part, it's all done quietly, very quietly, online. No one has to know. So that means no visits to the doctors, no awkward conversations, and no wasting time in line at the pharmacy. They will drop the pills right off at your doorstep in a nice package where you don't have to worry about anything. You could take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead and be ready whenever the opportunity arises for you when those ladies land in town. Does it work? Don't think you need to know. Try it for free for a month. See how it goes. You're going to love it. Your partner's going to love it too. They say there's nothing sexier than confidence, and Blue Chew can help you wear your confidence right there where it counts. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ALLCITY. ALLCITY at checkout. Just pay $5 for the shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo ALLCITY to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
Well, with Blue Chew, you ask, does the carpet match the drapes? If you go to Empire Today, they got your carpets, your floors, they got all that stuff covered. At Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and on top of all that, a price match guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So of course, there are copycats out there, right? There are people that say, oh, we can beat Empire at this, we can beat Empire at that. Don't believe them. They can't beat Empire Today on quality, service, speed. So they try to advertise low quality products that Empire Today simply will not carry. Because look, when you're putting in flooring, carpet in your home, you want it to be high quality. You want it built to last. You want it to look good for your guests that are coming over. So Empire's virtual floor designer is also a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. You snap a picture. I could take my phone out right here, point it at the floor, and you can instantly see how their new floors will look in your room. Shopping for floors at a big box store can be really frustrating. You might talk to someone today who was working a completely different job yesterday. Empire Today only does flooring. They live, they breathe it, so you can be confident you're getting honest, upfront advice. So schedule a free home estimate today. All of our listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code PHLY. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/PHLY for details.
In the future, Winona, I apologize. Just put that out there right now. I'll let you know ahead of time when that read is on the way because you had to step away for a second. I do apologize, Winona. Love you. Everybody else seemed to have fun with it, but we got to some people a little uncomfortable.
I'll pat myself on the back later for that transition. That was among the best I've ever done.
That was pretty good. Gene at least said Shorty was going crazy last year because
Rick Moore said we're talking a lot of hardwood in the chat today. So
yes, we
are.
Yes,
great
we are.
Basketball.
Right,
that's all we talk about here,
right
buddy.
In the basketball territory. We're back here, and we have to continue our draft so far. Kyle did lay it out for us. Kyle, can you lay it out for people maybe just joining us again who the teams are?
So we're through 6 picks for the 3 teams. Devon with his first pick took Victor Wembanyama, followed up with SGA. I have Anthony Edwards and Zion the Beignet King Williamson. And
who prompted my read, man.
Bree, super producer Bree, on the other side of the studio has Giannis and Jalen Brunson. So that's where we're sitting today.
All right. So with Wemby and SGA along with Tyrese Maxey in this particular draft, a lot of places we can still go, man. A lot of places we can go. And for right here, right now, to your point, can I still make this selection? I don't know. I think Martian.
You're gonna just have to ignore chat for the rest of the day because we're off the rails at this point.
Yes, it seems that we are, because that was funny as hell. All right, so with my next pick here, I would have loved to have Anthony Edwards there in the mix and a few others that we've already discussed. But right now, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna look here on my list. Even though I have an idea, I just want to make sure I'm right. On my list, I am going to go with, at this particular spot, I'm going with Kevin Durant. I still think KD has some good basketball left in him, and with the length in the front court helping out there a little bit.
I heard a deep sigh from Bree behind the glass.
So it sounds like Bree wanted that one. And look, he's one of those guys where even with the Achilles injury, you were wondering how he was going to come back and return and be the type of player that he is. And I still, with so many players on there, and you know that, Derek Bree knows that, how I feel about Kevin Durant. And even with this 3-year window, we can take some of the pressure off of him, maybe in year 2 or year 3 specifically. But Kevin Durant, along with the rest of my guys here on the team of SGA and Victor Wembanyama, I'm taking him over a few others because Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. You know who I am, damn it.
It's a good one. I like it. I'm starting to wonder where I should go, right? How do I attack these teams?
There's so many.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because once you have access to everyone, it's like, oh, I could.
Yeah.
You could just be like, well, here are the biggest possible names.
Yes.
I don't think that's where I'm going, though. I think between, look, I'm a believer in Tyrese as that lead guy. Mm-hmm. I'm certainly a believer in Ant-Man. Zion, because of his lack of consistent outside shooting, he's someone who's going to need the ball. So I want somebody who is going to be a two-way player, who's going to be comfortable in that hybrid role. You might get some time to be on the ball and attack and take guys in isolation, but I also want somebody who's a comfortable catch and shoot guy, a person who's willing to sacrifice for the team, do the little things for the team. I also want someone who's related to a member of this podcast, because it'll really stick the knife in deep that he didn't draft his own family member.
On my list.
I'm going with Mikal Bridges.
On my list.
I'm doing what the Sixers couldn't and didn't do and keeping the kid home. Mikal Bridges, come on down. I need my utility guy, and you are it.
On my list, of course. I thought he would last, selfishly. Thought he would last. I'm happy that he went higher in the draft, and he's on a pretty good squad there with so many scores. He can score, but he also can make a first-team All-NBA defensive team.
First-team All-Defense.
And runner-up for the Defensive Player of the Year. So, damn it. He was on my list.
I knew you wanted to get him, so I'm jumping the gun.
Sticking a knife.
And I'm trying to let some things play out here so that I can, in the end, get some value guys later on in the draft.
All right. That's a darn good one that I'm not happy about. That I'm not happy about. All right, Bree.
All right.
2 picks for Bree coming back to back.
This is tough. Well, chat wants me to take a certain someone, but that's boring because they play together already. So I'm gonna take Jokic.
Oh,
look at that.
They're right. My backcourt
you are
is really
banned
small,
from this podcast
I know,
forever.
My team is just full of rivals.
You are no longer
Sorry.
allowed in
We're trying to
studio,
win. No,
Bree. It's
yeah, fair.
Nah, solid pick.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just
I need
messing with
skill.
you.
I need size. There, that's it.
You need someone who wants to pass the ball on that team.
And look, watching him with that gravity, playing Tyrese Maxey and Jalen Brunson with the gravity off of Nikola Jokic, that's one that would be really fun.
Yeah,
that'd be really fun. All right, Bree.
Oh, with my final pick, right? Oof.
We still have one more pick after this. We're picking a 6th man as well.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, so let's see where you go here.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is rough.
Ethan says, no!
Yeah, my team is just a whack blacktop team. I don't know. I guess I'll take... Man, I really want to take LeBron, but I'm going to go...
I've been thinking about LeBron every pick since the first one.
Yeah.
But I can't justify to myself when he's like 42 trying to win a title with 42-year-old LeBron.
Brian says, Bree is canceled, I fear.
Sorry, guys. I'm letting you guys down. I'll take Kawhi, I guess.
Really? Okay.
Is that a good pick?
All right, no, in this prime, and we say everybody's healthy, so everybody's healthy.
Well,
he is.
If you're trying to win over 3 years, you can't be like, yeah, he's healthy for 3 years, right? That's part of it. So to Bree's credit, you would say Kawhi, when he is healthy, is still one of the game's best players. Like even in the state that he's in now, it's just, is he ever going to be healthy? And
right.
We don't really know that. I think Kawhi on paper is one of those guys that you want next to Tyrese, like an apex 2-way player. It's just a matter of how do you make that work? If and when he's down, it's a little easier to do that when you have Giannis and Brunson and Jokic on the team as well. But he's an interesting one.
Yeah, he is an interesting one. Good pick though. And I hear you on that one that you mentioned already that you didn't take, LeBron, and going with the Kawhi, a little bit younger, and if he's out there, tough one. All right.
Tough one.
Who you got?
So few ways I could go with this.
Absolutely.
Few ways I could go
one
with
big
this.
man off the bench. Off the board. Sorry.
I feel like I have to take on my mantle as the Philadelphia's favorite son on this show, I suppose. Jokic is on the other team.
Sure.
Wemby is on the other team. We all know around these parts who absolutely cooks both of those players, who offers a 2-way presence, who already has built-in chemistry with Tyrese Maxey. Of course I'm taking Joel Embiid here, right? And so part of what I was waiting for was waiting to see where Bree went with the big man pick, because I'm not sure in my heart of hearts, if you were building a team from scratch, you want Joel as like the big man next to Tyrese, because maybe you want to lean into switchability and things like that, right? And in that case, you might take Anthony Davis. You might take Bam Adebayo.
Wembanyama.
But part of the reason that I took Zion Williamson as my luxury pick, and maybe I could have just waited until the end. He didn't seem like he was really on anyone's radar here. I want Zion to essentially be the backup center on this team. If we're picking a 6th man, he is my like super sub or utility guy. Now, leaning on that guy, considering he's always, in and out of the lineup, and Joel is also, I'm exposing myself to great risk at the 5 position, right? But I think when you put Joel back there behind Mikal Bridges, Anthony Edwards going to get into your chest and get after you on the perimeter. Also, just as importantly, if you're comparing Joel to the likes of AD, whose jumper has gone completely missing, Bam is expanding his range, but for a lot of his career, he's been closer to a non-shooter, like around the rim player. By using Joel as your big, he's comfortable and confident as that step outside, take threes. We saw it in FIBA play. And we also know he calls Tyrese the franchise, right?
Yes, he does.
He wants to cede the floor to him. He's in those dribble handoffs, doing all the things you need him to do. So give me Joel. He's the starting center. He's the guy to play next to Tyrese. We'll see what else happens from there.
I love it. Love it. Love it having Joel, Jokic, and Wembanyama, and talked about top 5 centers in today's game of what direction you would like to go. Now, of course, we still would take Jokic and Embiid, but Wembanyama certainly on the heels of those 2 vets, those 2 MVPs, to see where things go overall. One more before the break?
Let's go back. Let's do the break, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap up the draft. How about that?
Let's do it that way. We come back here, round it out. See who has the best team. We'll get your thoughts. We'll get your votes on who you feel has the best one. Embiid off the board. Where do I go? I'm still looking for a few things here of rounding things out, and I have 2 picks back to back. We'll get to them when we get back here on the PHLY Sixers Podcast. And as I have this team here led by Tyrese Maxey and others, I'm going to have a big bank account. I have to pay a lot of guys, and I need to find a place to have the money to make sure I can pay
Where's
these people.
that, Devon? Where do you think you can find that?
TrueMark Financial. And at TrueMark Financial, they'll be able to store all the money. I can pay these guys and having the checks here, right? Have the checks here they can get paid on the 1st and the 15th as they need to throughout the regular season. And with that, I can also make sure that when they want to spend some money throughout the month, going throughout the season, that they can have their TrueMark Financial Rewards Visa credit card. Earn rewards for each purchase using TrueMark's Financial's Rewards Visa credit card and redeem them for travel and retail gift cards. Now, they don't have to worry about that on our charter plane, but in the offseason, they're going to need to do that. So I have them ready to go there. I'm helping the players to build their credit through timely payments and low credit utilization. They're enjoying fraud protection with features like zero liability through TrueMark Financial and this Visa Reward credit card. Traditional savings account, basic savings account offering a place to deposit funds and earn interest and withdraw money as needed. Money market accounts for the players and you, not just for the players, also for you, combining features of savings and checking accounts offering higher interest rates and limited check writing capabilities. Easy access to your money when you need it most, especially with the holidays coming up here right in front of us. You can't escape it. You know it's on the way. You want to get ahead of it. Right there, we got it covered for you. Certificates, fixed-term deposit account with a predetermined interest rate and maturity date, offering higher interest rates for locking in funds for a specific time period for you and your family. TrueMark Financial is federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal opportunity lender. For more information, visit TrueMark.com/PHLY.
And now it's time to talk about one of our oldest friends here.
Who's that?
At PHLY, the good people at FOCO. FOCO is a leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items, and more. You guys have seen FOCO stuff all over our sets. We talk about the overalls that were sweeping through Philadelphia during the last Red October. Whether it's hoodies, jackets, beachwear, or those overalls, there's something for fans for almost every occasion. It's the best officially licensed gear for all sports and fandoms. Doesn't matter if you're going to a basketball, hockey game, baseball, football. FOCO will hook you up just like they've hooked us up and provided awesome pieces for our sets. FOCO always has our back, and they'll have your back for Philly sports. Get the best gear around by using the link in our description. For all non-presale items, use the promo code PHLY10 for 10% off.
All right. Perfect. And Winona says thank you, since we went clean there.
Hey, listen.
With that break.
It's a family-friendly show, right?
It is a family-friendly show.
Especially when I'm not dropping F-bombs every segment.
That's all right.
We've been good. We've been on our best behavior.
And with that, make sure you all check us out, not just on YouTube and watching us on Twitter. You can also watch us on Roku, on our Roku channel, the PHLY channel. Just search it in the search bar, PHLY, and you will get the PHLY Sports channel, where it's everyone from John Marks beginning at 8 a.m. live, carrying through us here at 3 o'clock, the Flyers at 4, for the final show, post-game shows for every team as they happen. And then after all the live programming is done, they will recycle and you can catch our shows there in rotation again on the PHLY channel live on Roku. Hope to see you there. Bree also asked everybody to put your team up in the chat so we can see where you all go as you put your team together, beginning with Tyrese Maxey. I have 2 picks here back to back.
Should I go through the teams
go
again?
Go
up
through
to
the
this
teams
point?
here, yes.
So you're actually make your next pick, and then we'll go through each 4 guys that we all have.
Okay, I need to round out things a little bit here and lock down more so on the wing since I have my 2 guards in Maxey and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I have Victor Wembanyama with Kevin Durant in my starting front court, and I need someone else on the wing there in between those guys. And I'm going, Bree, I think you'll be cool here because now I'm going to go to a spot where we hate guys a little bit more. And that's going to Boston, and I have to take Jason Tatum. Two-way player.
I think the value is probably just too good at this point.
Two-way player, and sure, he can get lost sometimes on the offensive end when we do have Maxey and, of course, Shai Gilgeous, but we also have 2 guys that can help set him up with that. And my scoring ability is off the charts here with Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant in my front court, and certainly my back court is amazing right there also. So I like going in that direction right there with Jason Tatum as a value pick with my final starter for Jason Tatum in my spot there at the wing position. If you want to go small forward, we'll just say small forward. I'm going Jason Tatum there in that particular spot for it. So you want to run the team?
So yeah, so let's play catch up at
and then
this
we'll go
point.
With our 6 men.
Devon with his first pick in the draft. Victor Wembanyama, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum. My 4 at the second pick: Anthony Edwards, Zion, Mikal Bridges, Joel Embiid. Super producer Bree has Giannis, Jalen Brunson, Nikola Jokic, and Kawhi. So that's where we stand before. You could say that there are starting lineups, although I already basically gave away that I'm pushing Zion onto the bench as my wrecking ball, quite literally, coming off the bench. And we'll see how it goes from here. So Devon has his 5th and final pick. We're going to draft our 5, and that's our team. And then I think afterward we can give a explanation for how we arrived at these teams. How about that?
Yeah, that's that works for me. All the big men again are gone of note. There are a lot of directions I can still go, and I think I was looking at this one and I'm saying, all right, do I go big man to give some support to Victor Wembanyama? Do I go in another direction if Kevin Durant needs to come off the floor? I can get into it a little bit more as Kyle says. We can break our teams down, look at all of this stuff. And I am going to go right here and go with the big man to help out a little bit more off the bench. And that is, I'm going with Anthony Davis.
All right.
To give some support.
Another guy that I know Joel is going to see, and it's like putting a red cape in front of a bull.
100%. Yes, absolutely. But I am going to go there. I'm going to go Anthony Davis as my 6th man off the bench. I'll explain it more as we wrap around and wrap up our teams here. But Anthony Davis as my final pick to come off the bench, and had some other ones teed up, boy. Had some other ones teed up. But a value pick again, Anthony Davis coming off the bench.
All right. So assuming that Zion is kind of our super sub and that he'll spend some time as that, let's say, 6th man-ish type of guy. Couple directions I could go here. You could go for more of a true wing and play basically how the Sixers are going to play, right? With Tyrese and Joel at the bookends and put Mikal and a 3rd wing in there. You could also get a forward, maybe somebody helping out more of the rebounding, maybe someone who different type of skill set. I'm going to take a guy that we have talked about on this show a decent amount, someone that they will most likely never acquire, but will be on the Sixers fan and analyst fantasy team wish list for forever.
Yes.
I'm going with Lauri Markkanen.
That's a darn
Markkanen
good pick.
Is my sharpshooter. I wanted another guy who's going to be able to succeed off the ball.
Darn good pick.
I also think if you, I considered somebody like a Jaylen Brown, right? Like I think Jaylen has certainly proven himself after getting a lot of flack for that Supermax that he got. Comes through, wins Finals MVP last year. He was high on my list. I saw somebody in the chat brought up that Devin Booker should be a factor in here, and I agree. If
on the list.
I think if you had taken Anthony Edwards, I legitimately might have taken Devin Booker as my first overall pick because I think that type of guard, where the other thing with Booker is that his playmaking is levels above where Ant is, and I think next to Tyrese, you need somebody who can do that. But for me here, given that I have Joel, given that I have Zion, and those guys are going to kind of be the center, you should say, at any time, and Zion at center is a lot of fun for me. Having that extra size with Markkanen, having the guy who is an elite spot-up guy, someone who you can just move all over the floor and he's just ready to catch him fire at any given time, someone who can be a bit of a weak side rim protector at times, that appeals a lot to me. So Markkanen's going in there. So we'll get into more of it later, but that puts Bree on the clock.
Nice choice
for
there.
her final selection.
I'm going over my list here. I really want to take back the Kawhi pick.
Too late. Too late.
Man.
All right, so you have Jokic, Kawhi, Giannis, Brunson, and Maxey.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good starting five. I mean,
Yeah, it's not like
things
you're
considered.
struggling over there.
You're
for
good.
sure.
No, if they were a real team,
Yeah,
like,
you're good.
that would be
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah. So now you're just looking at the bench and seeing where
Yeah.
you go.
No, I'm taking Devin Booker. He was on my list.
I think it's
Gotta go, Book.
in that spot, Bree, to get Devin Booker as a. I mean, you could start him. You probably will because Kawhi will miss half the games your team plays.
Let me take
But
it back, please.
If Kawhi's healthy and you have Devin Booker coming off the bench, or even think of it this way, maybe Jalen Brunson comes off the bench, right? Like he comes in and
Absolutely.
then he runs the offense, does whatever he needs to do. I think that's a great pick. I think that makes all the sense in the world there.
Yeah, I like that. So 14 picks in, and 15 picks
No,
in.
we're done. That's
Yeah.
the full draft.
Yeah, it is. I'm saying 16 picks in, and that was pretty good. That's
I
not
think
bad
we
at
all ended up with some pretty good teams. But okay, so Devon, as the winner of the Pop-A-Shot shooting challenge and the number 1 overall selector, you ended up with Wemby, SGA, Durant, Tatum, AD. Tell us about your team and tell us what you're concerned with this team.
My only concern was the Wemby factor of the fact that he's still so frail. Even as talented as he is, the two-way ability that he has as a defender, and of course offensively we saw what he does, but we also saw Joel give him 70, and that was real. So for anybody saying anything about Joel Embiid, it was only the San Antonio Spurs. No, we're talking about a guy who was in conversation as a rookie to win the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Didn't he make the All-NBA defensive team?
I'm pretty sure
He made the All-NBA defensive team as a rookie. So he's a real defender, and Joel gave him 70. Now, a little more mature in year 2, year 3, year 4, where he understands certain things about defense and seeing some of these players more than just the 2 times in year 1, where he has a little more familiarity with them, how to play them, seeing Joel and Jokic in the Olympics and having an idea of how to play against them. And then as Hypothetical Man said, also, Maxey cooked San Antonio for 52. Well, guess what? We all got Maxey on our team, so he can cook every team
Exactly.
on this one as we build it out. But I just like the idea of him, but also that I was a little afraid, and that's why over Booker and some of the other players, I wanted to go with Davis with some size coming off the bench to help him out. The one more concern was just Kevin Durant aging in year 2 and 3, where it might hurt me a little bit in the clutch. But in that case, if he has to come off the bench, Anthony Davis is a power forward.
Oh, and
for
he
him.
loves people to
For
know.
him, yes.
I want to play next to another big.
Right. So if I'm playing Wembanyama and Anthony Davis at the 5 and the 4, I have to fall back on that. I'm feeling okay, especially with Tatum, SGA, and Tyrese Maxey. How about you?
So my philosophy coming in was I want to have a team that isn't necessarily stuck in one style, right? And I want Tyrese to be able to, he can succeed in the half court, but also be able to succeed in transition. I want him surrounded by guys, for the most part anyway. Markkanen maybe goes to the other side of this. I wanted two-way players, guys who can guard their man, guys who can create turnovers, guys who can protect the rim at the center position. And I also wanted to try to balance the team out a little bit with guys who don't need the ball. Like, I think Mikal is one of the greatest examples of that in the league. I think Markkanen's another one of the greatest examples. Like, they play through him a lot in Utah because he's the guy. But I think on a more loaded team where he gets pushed down the pecking order, I think his willingness and his ability to put it up in a hurry without having the ball that long is super, super valuable. And so I love where I ended up at. The main concern is that Zion and Joel, their health is kind of always up in the air. And if you lose one or both of them, all starts to fall apart. But I also loved the built-in synergy with Joel. And I'm not really worried about the rest of these guys. I think you drop Ant-Man into a team, he's going to be Ant-Man no matter where he is. I think Mikal is one of the biggest plug-and-play guys in the league. And I love that I was able to be the homer from Philadelphia to draft Joel Embiid so that I can take Joel to each of these teams, have him put Wemby, Anthony Davis, and Nikola Jokic all in the locker, just shove them in there, give them a big wedgie. And so if Tyrese doesn't have it going, if all these other guys don't, we know we can break that glass in case of emergency. You just got to hope that they stay healthy. It's the biggest thing. So that's concern number one for me. And if I'm looking at obviously your guys' teams, I would want another wing. Like, I really did think hard about going with a Jaylen Brown or somebody else with that last pick, but give me the shooting and I'm going to hope that the rest works out.
Yeah. Bree, any last thoughts on your group, on your squad? Except for the fact that you want to give back Kawhi Leonard.
I would take that back if I could.
Listen, Bree, I was giving you a lot of
Edwards,
grief. I drafted Zion with my second pick. And he's like, last year, the whole thing was, well, he's too fat to be good. So
no, I should have took Edwards with my. No, because did you take him?
Yeah,
in
I took
your
Edwards
pick?
first overall, or with my first overall.
Did you?
Pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, there is no point. Yeah, I think I just wanted shooters, and I was looking at it from a scoring is good, type of thing.
Scoring is good.
The name of the game is buckets.
Yeah, I was also just like thinking about like putting them into like 2K Blacktop and just picking like all my favorite players or whatever it is, and then just like going at it. But yeah, Giannis was a strong first pick.
Yes, he was.
And I think it just kind of went downhill from there. That was it.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Great stuff. Before we go, since we're not picking anymore, Kyle, do you have 5 that you left? Because I know you, so I know you still have a list of people.
Oh yeah, I mean, we only put this together not that long
just
ago.
5, because I'll just give my 5.
OG was up there for me for the defensive versatility. LeBron, again, like we said it during the draft, I thought about him as the final pick too, because talk about wanting more playmaking. That's your guy, and you also get the forward type size, and LeBron being just a great competitor. Would also throw in someone more utility guy like Aaron Gordon. We bring up on this show all the time. Really thought about him. And then if we're talking backcourt utility guys, Drew Holiday and Derek White in Boston, strong considerations. The big name, that was 5 already, but the big name that I was like, maybe I should just do this.
Steph Curry.
Was Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And you just say, we are going
Screw
to
it.
just bomb away from 3 over and over again.
Yep.
Ultimately, I just wanted bigger, more athletic guys and to be able to defend basically everybody. But it was a real consideration. And when you watch Steph in the Olympics, when you've seen them when they've had high-level teams in Golden State, it is hard to turn down the opportunity to put that guy on the team. So certainly no disrespect to him. I thought long and hard about it.
And I was with you. He was
went a different way.
He was one that was there. So, of course, I'll take him off my list. And I went totally different than you. This is why this is so fun.
There you go.
Because I went in a totally different direction. I had Jalen Williams from OKC on my list for the 2-guard versatility of, I know Kyle's going to take Anthony Edwards. So it's between Devin Booker, Jalen Williams, and when we were talking to 2-3 years, Devin Booker still certainly checks off the box. But I went with also the defensive possibilities of Jalen Williams as a chance to take on him as another guy, as a starter even for Jalen Williams. My other one was Paolo Banchero because of the versatility and the size at that power forward spot, but could play anywhere in the front court. Maybe match up against Zion as a backup five when they're both out there on the floor. Just a lot of just craziness going on with those two. I had Trey Murphy as one of my sleeper deep late picks if we were going to extend the draft a little bit.
I think we're going to be talking about Trey Murphy quite a bit this year, if I had to guess.
Yep. So, and my final one was Keegan Murray as fire it up, get shots off, and I'm having him at the 4. I worried about him a little bit defensively, but when I have, whether it's Joel or Wemby at my 5 spot, and I have Keegan Murray at my 4, so much playmaking going on to get him an opportunity. Neither one of us, not even Bree, said Luka. It was tough.
I think Luka is unbelievable, right? But he's one of those that he has to be the first guy.
Yes.
Once he's there,
then Edwards and
the whole
Booker
rest of the team just
Williams.
changes. It's hard for me to see, like, Tyrese would be, because part of what I was trying to do drafting is like, this is Tyrese's team to some extent, right? Mm-hmm. And Ant-Man's going to have something to say about that. Yeah. Joel Embiid's certainly going to have something to say about that. But I didn't want it to turn into like, hey, Luka has the ball and Tyrese is like his Kyrie here, right? I did want it to be at least a little bit tilted toward Tyrese in the backcourt and thinking about what he needs. But what's interesting about what you did, Devon, as I was listening to you now and throughout the draft, it was either like in their prime guys or at complete ends of the spectrum. Like, I tried to keep it in a pretty narrow band, I think, from like Ant-Man's young, but he's already pretty proven, where you're going into some of these guys like Paolo and you're really trying to think about the long term. I'm just saying, sell the farm. We're going for it now, baby. You give me one, that's more than you can ask for most of the time. So it's just a little bit of difference in philosophy, but I appreciate it.
And look, even with that, with my starters, I had a guy in Tatum who just won a title, been to a bunch of conference finals, and SGA just went to the Western Conference Finals. And we already talked about how that's probably the one team that we look at for 60 wins this season. And with Durant, we already know. And Wembanyama, it's more of, to your point, that window of, it's branched out, but he's so good defensively. Mm-hmm. He probably would have been one of our picks later on. And I just happened to take him with my first overall and went there. And then the Davis piece of it just to have some security there. But some of those younger ones, but also thinking that they could pan out in that span of that 2-3 years of making sure that we can play for a championship.
I think we all ended up with pretty good teams.
Pretty darn good teams.
I think the name brand value, Devon definitely won. You got
you think so?
I think so. I mean, SGA, Durant, Tatum, AD is strong, and then Wemby is like the next big thing type of deal. I think mine with Zion and Markkanen is going to, and Mikal for that matter, is more people don't view him as Kevin Durant, I don't think. And then Bree loaded up for sure. It's like Olympians plus Giannis plus Kawhi, who would have been on the Olympic team. So it's, everybody put together good teams here. It's hard to say. I think everyone thinks they won, is what I would guess.
I would agree with that. All right. So a couple of things here as we get ready to get started with our training camp coverage beginning on Monday, starting with Media Day. We first want to make sure that we tell everybody to go sign up for the Die Hard program because, folks, you already have your Eagles and your Phillies coverage taken care of as things are starting with the Eagles and the Phillies getting ready for the start of the postseason run. It's going to be a blast. But Mishkov played his first game at the Center last night, and everyone was excited. Now we got Sixers coverage that's also beginning. So between the Flyers and the Sixers, everything going on with training camp for both teams, you want to make sure that you are signed up for the Die Hard program. There will be some articles for free unlocked for you to take advantage of, but for the rest of the season, Die Hard. So we hope that you're able to sign up for the Die Hard program. Join us there and get all the premium written content from Charlie, Derek, and Kyle as we begin these 2 winter teams getting underway.
I have a long thing that I'm working on for Monday because Derek and I will be down in the Bahamas a day early while Devon and Rich handle media day. Bree will be on the ground with them as well. I think they'll be hooking up with Anthony and some of our other friends here at PHLY. So they will have you covered on media day. I will have a Die Hard article out for everyone Monday morning before that gets rolling. And then starting Tuesday, rest of the week, we'll be posted up in the Bahamas, bringing you the latest updates from the ground on how guys are looking. What are the lineups we're seeing? Maybe what has changed or what hasn't changed based on what we thought in the offseason. We'll have a ton of that coming to you guys next week and certainly the rest of the year, but that's when it starts to kick off.
We also want to give you an update on Monday for the show. Media Day begins Monday morning. So on Monday, John Marks will begin at 8 o'clock. He'll go until 9 as usual, Monday through Friday. And then, of course, reacting to the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe squeeze in some Sixers conversation with Media Day getting underway for John Marks. And then with Anthony Gargano, also Eagles conversation, but he will be live from the practice facility on Media Day on Monday beginning at 9 a.m. He's going to go until 11. And then at 11:15, myself, Rich, will begin Media Day coverage live from the practice facility. Anthony will then join us for a 3-man team, and we will have our conversations with the players. We have a list of players that we're going to be speaking to on Monday live at 11:15. So no 3 p.m. show, everybody. We apologize. We want to give you a heads up right now. No 3 p.m. show on Monday, 11:15. So I know it's going to throw off your work schedule. I hope you don't have a meeting at that time where you're traveling. If so, maybe you just check back in a little bit later. Sorry about the inconvenience, but Media Day will be live. So we're going to have those conversations for you live in the moment, beginning at 11:15 with Rich Hoffman, Anthony Gargano, and the Sixers players that will be joining us. And as Gene says, Gene, you know we're going to make it work. Go get him, Rick.
That's right.
Make sure Rick will be on the show with us to follow up from our conversation last season and see where he is. His excitement is totally different for Ricky now from where he was a year ago to where he is now. Still trying to cement himself in the rotation, but we believe he's on the team and he's going to have an opportunity to earn some minutes. So 11:15, myself, Rich Hoffman, Anthony Gargano, Colin Derrick will already be posted up in the Bahamas, and they'll be having some things for you.
I'll post some pictures of myself by the pool in Atlantis. How about that?
And Winona says she'll be headed to the airport, so it's all good. All good. Gene says he might have a meeting. Damn it, Gene's employers, give him the time to watch the show while the meeting is going on.
Comcast. I'm just joking, Eugene.
So we appreciate everybody always being so important to us, of course, and just being so clearly part of our show. Man, we couldn't do it without you. And I'm excited to get started from the very beginning of training camp and on.
We have Devon with us this year to
Day
do
one,
training
baby.
camp, media day, all that. We were without him for 3 months last year. So to hopefully hit the ground running next week, we'll be making some tweaks to some things we're doing with post-game shows and whatnot throughout this year. And you guys have been great for us, the last year plus that we've been doing this.
Yep.
And excited for another year. Really hoping that this is the year that they finally take a meaningful step forward, and that'll only make the year more exciting. But if not, we'll still be here and we'll be talking about it, breaking it down, figuring out how they should blow it up if it all goes wrong.
We hope they do right by you, and we'll be here to discuss
exactly
it all.
right.
All right, let's get to our world famous roll call here on this Friday.
All right, everybody, happy Friday and enjoy your weekend. Stay safe out there in the rain and everything else.
Nasty out.
Take care of each other. Thank you to our wonderful people like my guy Eugene Ross.
What up, Gene?
My girl Winona.
Hey, Nona, see you in the Bahamas, Nona.
We got the hypothetical man in the building. We
What
got
up,
Val Host is here.
Hey, Val.
Brian Knight says, I take this time change to the show as a personal attack. We're sorry, buddy. We've got, let's see, who else? Aaron.
What up, Aaron?
Says he's excited for what sounds like some cool coverage coming up We sure hope so.
It's going to be a fun time.
Bootzilla.
Boots. No
In
boots
the
in the
building.
Bahamas. Not wearing boots. But you'll be there with us.
SB Cole, PHLY. We
What
got
up, y'all?
Cal in here
Hey,
with
Cal,
us
what's
today. Devon Gibbons. Who's that guy?
Nobody.
Money Mar,
What up, Mar?
who was one of the biggest supporters of my Joel Embiid pick in the draft. So
Yes,
thank you
yes.
to Money Mar for stepping up. We got Ethan Pano. We got I Gavini.
What up, Gavini?
Did I-
IG in the house.
I haven't shouted out Martian Lynch yet. That seems like a crime. He's
What up,
always
Martian?
at or near the top of the list. Thank you, buddy, for coming in. Hold on. Was there a rebrand that took place?
What happened?
It says Darkness on Wheels.
Really?
Is that like mobile darkness?
I didn't see it.
I can't do the Charlie Murphy anymore.
If we don't know for sure.
I don't know. It might be a completely different person. Darkness on Wheels. Blink twice if it's the original Darkness.
Turn the lights down. Whoa.
Anyway,
Dark
thank
in
you to
here.
Rick Morris. Thank you to everybody else that came through here. Rick Sachs, also in the building. We met
What up,
Rick.
Rick?
We met Rick at one of
Yes.
our events, the one at Garage Fish Town
Yes.
for the draft. So awesome to see all of you as always. Hope to see you a lot more and plenty more of you
Basketball time, folks.
in the days and weeks ahead. Media Day Monday, training camp next week. We can't wait. Hit the subscribe button if you want more talk about training camp and all the rest. Hit the bell icon for notifications each and every time we go live, and hit the thumbs up to say thank you to super producer Bree for not just producing the show, but participating in drafts, doing all sorts of stuff for this show to help make it run. Say thank you to Bree with your thumbs up. We will see you Monday for Media Day, and then it's off to the races, everybody.
See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.